So hey guys, it's KMCers. I'm Kirsten and welcome back to another true crime video. So today we're going to be talking about a girl named Kenyatta Bush and how she was murdered. So let's just jump right into this case. Kenyatta Nicole Bush was March 30th of 1975. She was 17 years old from Omaha, Nebraska. She was described as beautiful, kind, funny, super smart, and very talented at singing. The incident that occurred is on September 23rd of 1992. Kenyatta disappeared from North High School in Omaha. 10 days later, her body was found in a ditch in Washington County, Nebraska, and that's when the investigation began. Her autopsy showed that she had been stabbed in the throat 3 to 4 times, and she had died from those wounds. Her body was also bruised, and the bruises on her body resulted in a sexual assault had occurred, and the officers had figured out that the location of her body was not where the crime had began, and she was just moved there after. Then the case goes cold for quite a few years, and on September 17th of 1996, Omaha received a report from Barb Olson stating that Adam Barnett told her son-in-law Jason Lanou that him and a guy named Jeremy Sheets were involved in the murder. Police wrote a statement from Jason and his wife Rochelle, and Rochelle ended up agreeing to wearing a wire and having a phone call conversation with Adam Barnett, and that's where he confessed about the murder. But he said that Sheets did the crime and that he only drove the car. He was arrested on September 27th of 1996. He said that he was not involved in the murder, but that Jeremy Sheets killed Kenyatta. He then asked for a lawyer. He was charged with homicide. On September 28th of 1996, he requested that he would speak with his lawyer. He then wished to make a statement regarding his involvement in the murder. And in this interview, he said that on the day that she disappeared, she willingly got into the car and agreed to drive around with them and smoke marijuana. He stated that they went to Dodge Park and he got out to go to the bathroom, and when he came back, Jeremy Sheets had her pinned down on the ground and was stabbing her. His lawyer ended up negotiating a plea deal. The agreement of this plea deal was that he be truthful of who was involved and how he was involved, and to cooperate with the police and make a phone call with Jeremy Sheets and testify at the trial. In return, he would be charged with second-degree murder, and he would be in safety and well-being in custody, and the use of a deadly weapon would not be filed onto him. He then gave a confessional tape recording to the police, and I will read to you what he stated in that confessional tape. Starts by saying, Barnett, this is what he said. We were cruising around Omaha. It was early in the morning. We had been tripping on acid all night, piggybacking them. We decided to go out and find a girl that we could have sex with. We drove up through North High about 10 o'clock in the morning. There she was. Nobody else was out there, in the middle of the school. Jeremy said, there, that's the one. We can grab her. But we pulled over the car and we both got out of the car and grabbed her. I was driving. Jeremy was in the back seat with her. He had a handkerchief and he stuck it in her mouth. He sat there and held her. We proceeded to leave the school and we went down to Dodge Park. We parked. We got her out of the car. We walked about a half a mile up the trail and we decided we were going to rape her right there. We took off her clothes and he proceeded to have sex with her for like 10 minutes. And then he started beating her. He had his knife in his hand, but it wasn't opened. It was used as kind of like a hard surface on his hand, like a rock. As I was holding her down and he was beating her, he didn't stop. He kept beating her. Finally, I stood up and I took 3 steps back. That's when he took out what looked like an open blade of the knife and he stabbed her in the upper torso. I just stood there and did nothing. The reason I didn't do nothing is because she was black. If it would have been a white girl, I probably would have stopped him, but I didn't. I just seen faces of other people and thought she deserved it. After it was over, we went back to the car and grabbed a garbage bag. We put it over her head. He picked up the top of her and I picked up the bottom of her, and we took her back to the car and put her in the trunk, and then we drove out of Dodge Park. Took a right. I'm not exactly sure how far we drove. All I know is we drove for not even 2 minutes. Jeremy said this is the place right here. So we dumped her right here. We got out of the car, we looked around to see if there was any cars coming, and when there wasn't, we opened up the trunk of the car. We took her off into the woods. I'm not exactly sure how far into the woods. Dropped her body. We took the bag off of her and we went back to the car. We got back to the house and we cleaned out the trunk the best we could, burned the bag, burned the clothes Jeremy had on. We sat there and we talked about what we had done and how we'd never talk about it again. And we haven't. In this whole statement, he says that Sheets is the one that removed her clothing, he's the one that raped her and beat her and stabbed her. He stated that the motive was racially motivated because they were angry that white women were dating black men. And was concerned for his safety if inmates had found out. He made the call to Sheets, but Sheets didn't implement himself at all. And Barnett ended up refusing to go to the crime scene, which was against the plea deal. And on November 13th of 1996, Barnett committed suicide in his jail cell. So it's kind of very fuzzy on when they arrested Jeremy Sheets, but I'm now going to talk about the trial. So the jury was allowed to see Barnett's confession tape, and Jeremy Sheets was convicted of first-degree murder and the use of a deadly weapon to commit a felony. On June 27th of 1997, a hearing was conducted in front of a 3-judge panel to determine if he would get a sentence of life in prison or the death penalty. 2 out of the 3 judges determined that the death penalty should be imposed. The 3rd judge said that they did not prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the murder was cruel intentions. Sheets was given the death penalty in September 26th of 1997. He appealed the sentence due to the right that he can confront his accuser. The case was overturned due to not being able to cross-question his accuser in 2000. So he was released on June 13th of 2001. During his 3 years on death row, Sheets appeared on billboards and advertisements as the death penalty by an Italian fashion company named Vuitton. So the aftermath is quite sad, to be honest. So 2 weeks after Kenyatta's funeral, Kenyatta was named homecoming queen, and her mom ended up accepting the crown on her behalf. That is really beautiful. But this is where it gets really sad. Sheets ended up moving to Colorado, where he confronted another girl outside of a grocery store and attacked her with a knife. During this trial, evidence of his involvement with Kenyatta Bush's murder was not allowed to be considered a misdemeanor, and that it was this whole case was a misdemeanor. It was his word against hers, and let go for that. He speaks with the Innocence Project, claiming that he was innocent and that he was railroaded into prison. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below what case I should do next, and subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on that bell notification so you're notified when we post every single Tuesday, occasionally on Fridays when we feel like it, and every other Saturday. This is KMC whatever, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys. I am losing my voice.